Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zach and today we're looking at ECOMI price, OMI stuff, VeVe stuff, and we're going to be listening to David Yu, who is of course the founder and CEO of ECOMI. He's going to be speaking at an NFT summit. Right now we're looking at the OMI price, but I am actually waiting on this right here. We see collectibles, sports and culture at the NFT summit, GDA group. We have Mike Grantis, we have Matt Solomon, we have David Yu, and we have Kazim Attila. Sorry if I've got anyone's names wrong here. We're going to wait for a little bit, but whilst we do, honestly, let's have a look at the price real quick whilst we wait. And of course, I have to wait, but you don't have to wait because you're watching a video. So yeah, it's about an hour, so this video is going to be kind of long, but we actually have a lot to cover today and tomorrow as well, so I'm excited. That said, currently OMI price 0.002637 on a high of 0.002708 and a low of 0.002559. Honestly, a very small range today, and the first time I think that I've actually said the high before the low. Having said that, I'm having a feeling that I might just have to cut out the wait time. Oh, here we are. Hi all, can someone let me in live or I will wait? So David's definitely here. Stream starting now. Okay, so I'm assuming it's just gonna go like that soon and we'll be there. I'm hoping. I don't really feel like editing this out.
All right, everybody, welcome to the next panel of the day for the GDA NFT Summit. Thank you so much to GDA Capital for hosting such great conversations over the course of the day. This is the sports and collectibles panel. So maybe we'll start with a few introductions. I'll kind of go first. I'm the host of the panel. My name's Mike Grantis. I run a crypto intelligence company called CryptoWeekly.co. I've been in the crypto space since about 2016, but recently just took a kind of a big interest in the NFT space. And so I'm working on a pre-release project right now called Crypto Revolution. That's a game card, kind of collectible game card design that kind of brings in some aspects of the world of the Magic cards and some aspects of the board game Catan into a great kind of gameplay environment. So that's a little bit more about my background. Maybe David, you can give an intro on yourself, and then we can go to Matthew.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that, Mike. Good morning and good evening. My name is David, co-founder, CEO of VeVe. Basically, VeVe is a e-commerce platform for home of premium NFT digital collectibles. We give basically users easy access to collectibles through the palm of their hand on mobile device. What we really do is we're a platform with an end-to-end solution, and the journey really allows the users to come and participate in fandom. And what we really believe in is everyone is fan of something, from a movie action hero or to a comic superhero. And basically, the NFT collectibles are designed to be like the physical one. They are available in 3D and brought to life through the augmented reality, and you can share that through the photo feed in our app or through other social media outlets. And that's what we do.
Thanks, David. Matthew?
Yeah, hey guys. So I'm Matt. I'm the brand lead for VeVe Motorsport. I guess prior to this, I had a somewhat lengthy-ish career in motorsport, racing everything from Formula 3 to GT3s, and I'm actually fairly new to the whole crypto and blockchain space. I joined Animoca in October last year, so just gone about 9 months now. But I'm working as the brand lead for VeVe Motorsport, which is essentially the motorsport token on the blockchain, with NFT games such as F1 Delta Time, officially licensed games, MotoGP Ignition, and Formula E. So yeah, great to be here and tell you guys a bit more.
Awesome. Well, great to have you. We're also waiting on one other person that's hopefully going to hop in soon. His name's Kazim Attila. He's the co-founder and CEO of Iconic Sports. So if he comes in, we'll give him a second to introduce himself. But if not, we can just kind of keep this conversation going with the three of us. So the first thing I wanted to bring up or ask is, when we talk about blockchain, I always refer to it as the next generation of the internet. And when the internet was invented, we didn't really know what the long tail was going to bring of the types of innovation that would come from it. And I think we're clearly seeing that right now with NFTs and in the advancements in the NFT space. So I'd love to understand from you guys, where do you see the NFT space evolving to in the next 5 to 10 years? Maybe David, if you don't mind asking.
Yeah, I mean, the NFT space has been out, really in the public knowledge for a good 6-8 months, but it's going back as far as like 2016, 17 with CryptoKitties coming out. We definitely do see this as a brand new class of digital assets, and because of this, there's many ways companies and brands are thinking. And one major thing is how to incentive bias behavior, and it's a way for companies now to able to monetize their digital content, from music, from movies, from artworks. We have seen a lot of these other individuals, talent people coming up. So it's a whole spectrum, and we really believe that it's a new digital class. It will be here for a while, and we'll see it evolve as we come.
Absolutely. Well, Kazim, nice to have you join us. Might have been some technical difficulties on the way in, but we just kind of got started. We just kind of got started, introduced ourselves, and a little bit of our background and how we got into the crypto space. So if you don't mind, maybe we can hear your background and some of the things you're working on with Iconic.
No, definitely, Mike. Sorry for the technical issue. Sometimes it happens as a hiccup. But yeah, I'm the founder, CEO of Iconic. We are a fan engagement platform whereby we focus ourselves 100% on all sports and all entertainment to bring under one roof, Mike. We have seen a huge issue, problem, requirement, needs in that field over the last 4 years. So we didn't, join that sector because of the, COVID, like many companies has done. The problems, exist over the last 20 years. We believe there has to be a better fan engagement ecosystem platform that fulfills the needs and requirements of the three target groups. From one hand, the rights holders, clubs, idols, celebrities, leagues, etc., the fans, and last but not least, the brands. And that's why we have set up Iconic. And, we use many different technologies to build the platform, from native iOS, Android, PHP.NET, and of course, as well, other technologies like blockchain. And that is how we got into the blockchain sector as well, Mike.
Amazing. And one of the things that got me into the NFT space specifically is how it's really flipping a lot of business models on their head. Where I think of traditional business models as how much value you can extract from your customers. NFTs, I think, are allowing companies to start focusing on how much value we can bring to our customers. And so I'd like to hear, from anybody on the panel, how do you guys see NFTs tying into the fan experience and bringing value to fans?
Yeah. So, Mike, we really see a huge engagement now with brands. Now, just to start off, a lot of the brands understand values and propositions and what they want to deliver to their consumer. They're just trying to figure out this new nascent space of how to deliver it the best proper way. I mentioned earlier about the incentive bias behavior, and it's really, if you add up all the brands, they have decades, if not centuries, worth of content. And it's how they now can bring some of the old content and monetize it and bring it, that experience that you probably once first know of a superhero. When you read the comic, how does it originate with you, bring it to life through a different medium of ownership, through the digital and the fandom. And a lot of the brands are trying to work out what is the best proper way to do it, shall I say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just to kind of linger on that point for a little longer, you know, you said these brands have years of kind of intellectual property built up. And, you know, it's hard to put a value on that without really doing a deep dive on, you know, the fundamentals of the business and how many people are viewers and whatnot. So how are NFTs allowing brands to more transparently monetize their brands and put a value to the brand IP that they've built?
Yeah, so the value side of things is number one. Now everything's all very fast-paced, moving, direct to consumer. The NFT allows the brand owner directly to speak to their audience very fast through delivery, through blockchain or digital means. And more importantly, it's about the transparent of the ownership and the transfer. And we all know about, having the ownership is only one thing, and having that authenticity, and the scarcity is another thing. So for brand, finally, instead of just going, well, here's a T-shirt, it's an open edition now. Through blockchain, through these scarcities that you're minting, it allows brand owners really to be very open. Hey, this is a run of 5,000 edition or something. And we already see this in the very traditional world. So it's nothing actually very new. It's just a new way to deliver to all across the world and the globe. And we've seen that with our platform, that the delivery mechanism reaches to 185 different countries all at once. So the exitable for consumers much faster. So, we're living in 24/7 almost now, constantly. Internet is streaming content non-stop. And this will continue for these brand owners to move to this new medium space.
Would anybody else like to build on that, or should we can move on?
I was just gonna to tag one point on the back of that. I think for a lot of the brands, it's I guess a unique way to kind of tap into communities that they have and that they actually might not know exist from traditional from their traditional communities who are getting into the space, and for the blockchain space as well to kind of get engaged with some of these platforms. Like with our F1 Delta Time game, for example, we have a very strong community of blockchain users, but we're starting to see that migration of people who are traditionally F1 fans come in and trying to understand the space and understand how they can interact with these officially licensed F1 products, and kind of I guess is a new way to interact, and that's really exciting to see how we can kind of build on that as the space grows.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point. The fact that NFTs have really been a great bridge for the non-crypto native user, right? People have been, collecting for example, the Dapper Labs NBA Top Shots that don't really know anything about crypto, but just want to have access to their favorite player, their favorite sports moment. So maybe, Kazim, if you don't mind, kind of touching on how NFTs provide this bridge, this way of bringing in the traditional sports fan, the traditional gamer, fan into the world of crypto, and how that's going to help the entire ecosystem in the long run.
No, definitely, Mike. And I believe it's actually more than a bridge, right? If you look at the NFTs, it's with many things that starting into the market as a new thing, like it's like a hype. So if we look at when the first tokens came out, in 2017, the ICO, it became an ICO hype, right? A different way of raising money. I mean, it was only this, how could we raise other money? There could be equity sale, bond issue, it could be crowdfunding. And this was another way of, okay, we issue tokens and yes, let's jump on the wagon. And that was the hype thing, right? Again, utilizing an ecosystem of investors, how we could raise this money actually in the market. And that is how I see as well the NFTs. I mean, like David already said, there are, now an opportunity for, brands, for rights holders to monetize the assets that they have. And like Matthew said, from F1 licenses, etc., whereby, fans could buy different products. And for me, NFT, you have seen it, it became a hype. And it became a hype because of, oh, wow, we can make money. It was not really utilizing a solution. It was more like, how can we make money? I mean, that's the bottom line that I can see it of as a tweet, a Twitter tweet that sold for $2.6 million. I mean, what do you buy there, right? We coming from the sport and entertainment world, and if you are a sport and entertainment side and you looked at the old days when you were on the school, you were doing the player cards or the Panini or whatsoever, you wanted to buy them. It was, like you said, a scare element that had only 10, 50 or 100 of those. Like a Babe Ruth signed baseball. There was only one, from the championship that, that he maybe did the record of home runs that you said, oh, that's the only one. And that's where we believe. We believe in physical goods, like Matthew was saying, that, hey, this is a physical good signed by the driver, by the player, by the celebrity, etc. And what we see NFT does is actually like a covenant. How do you know that this ball or this product was signed by the relevant driver, player, celebrity, etc.? And that is where the NFT comes in. It on the blockchain that, okay, it was minted by that relevant rights holder, idol, owner, or whatsoever. So see where it comes from. How you can see how many there were. There is a description, there is a background, and when it's further sold, then you can see, okay, that is a real product. You see that as well with paintings, right? From Picasso, Rembrandt, which was painted 500 years ago. How do you know it was them? You need to get through a lot of process. Even the new ones, how do you know it is 20-year-old, that was painted and asking a lot of money for it? And that is how we actually, bridge the gap from the people that loves collectibles, now bring it digitally and then get the digital world involved in the non-fungible token, the NFTs, that it's the real McCoy. And you can pay with a fiat currency, with a cryptocurrency. And I think that's a great bridge between, let's say, the collectible physical world and the digital side that shows that is the real product itself.
Yeah, I think you bring up some really great points there. And definitely one of the most important things about NFTs on the blockchain is the authentication, right? Making sure that something is real. But I think equally as important is ownership. Not just that it's real, but who is in possession or ownership of this, right? The old adage goes, possession is 9/10 of the law. And maybe that's true in the physical world for some items, but if you can prove ownership on the blockchain, it can provide a lot more value. So if anybody wants to hop in on that, kind of the importance of digital ownership on top of just authentication of value.
Yeah. So the importance of the digital intangible ownership we're talking about, or back in 1975, intangible assets only accounts for about 17% of a company's asset value. But now if you look at all the corporate companies around the world, it's up to 90% of the company's intangible digital value. It could be their branding, their goodwills, and the power of these become tremendous value for a company. So when you put it from the other perspective and the other side, as us as individuals, I mean, how can we build some of that wealth? How can we build some of those intangible digital ownership and have value true into our life? And, a lot of now independent artists or brands we're talking about, they can digitalize music, artwork, their old assets, what they have. And we will see many other forms of digitalization coming out. For example, we're doing digital collectibles. And the most important thing is about the transparency. And it's no longer just about the first sale. So for a brand or for artists, it's about authenticity, which we talked about. Is this real? Now, for the buyer side, they want to know, apart from if this is real, the scarcity of it. How many is minted? Is this going to be one of a kind that you promised me? But in between this gap here, in the middle, there's also the traceability. So because it doesn't really just stop in the first transaction, we will see continuous ownership transfers, and people want to see, just like how your property, your vehicle, your house, some of them have records for decades, if not centuries. So users want that ability to see the transparency after the first sale. And I think a lot of these, the possessions of ownership that you're talking about, the 19th in the law, is that people want to feel they are buying something with a true value, apart from scarcity, but all the provenance. And you probably understand, in the art world, a lot of these artists become super famous because it's very subjective. But a lot of them do pick who is their buyer, who is the last owner of this digital asset. Is quite important. So, for example, if I own a digital collectible that was once owned by a celebrity or a super famous star in the shown or somewhere in the blockchain, or some sort of creation is proved it's been held by these people, it adds new intrinsic value and goodwills to it. And this ownership will become more and more clear. And I think it will be amazing. And that's what the importance is. It is.
Of course, this leans into social currency, right?
And having that value unlocked.
It's hard to talk in this because I don't want to interrupt,
And, to touch on that ownership piece, you brought up a point that I didn't really even think of, which is the past ownership, right? If you think of a celebrity's car having more value because they drove it, usually that only goes back to the last person that owned it. But if you have an immutable record from the inception of that good or that piece of art, of all the celebrities that have owned it and the people in the past, the value could continue to increase, tenfold. And with the, royalties built into an NFT, that artist can continue to make more and more on the transaction of their products. Matthew, I'd like to single you out quickly. No disrespect to anybody else on the panel, but Matthew, you're clearly the most decorated professional athlete on the panel. And so I'd like to ask you, what was it that made it click for you to kind of move from the world of professional sports to professional motorsports to the world of NFTs? And if you had a piece of advice that you would give to any other professional athlete looking to delve into the space, what would it be?
Well, I guess the short answer to that first question is I never quite made it to Formula One. So now having, being able to own my own F1 car in F1 Delta time, I guess fulfills that dream a little bit. So I have to thank
F3 works.
But yeah, no, I think what really kind of sold me was the fact that we're really designing and building a full racing experience with what we're doing with Rev Motorsport. We obviously have our three pillars of F1, MotoGP, and Formula E, but we're then also building out a kind of wider experience within the platform itself, whether that's bringing in drivers, bringing in teams, manufacturers, to really have a kind of a fan universe, let's say, where people are able to race their cars, trade, sell, and kind of put their cars on show as well. I think for a lot of athletes that want to get into the space, I think it's important, and I think I kind of wish this was more of a thing back when I was racing, is going back to that discussion before about community and being able to kind of engage with a new audience, and have that kind of engagement that you wouldn't necessarily have in a traditional sense, where it becomes a little bit more personal, and I think identities play a really big part in NFTs, and I think you're seeing that with a lot of different projects. Like, for example, with Sandbox, one of our projects with Animoca, a lot of the land, might be owned by a Pranksy or a Avenged Sevenfold or the Winklevoss twins, and all the land around it, all of a sudden, that picks up value purely because it's associated with some of these, some of the big names in the space. So I think having that kind of community aspect and being able to kind of engage with a new, new group of audience, I think that's very important for a lot of athletes that want to come in.
Beautiful. Well, I think, staying on the same topic, I want to call it pay to play games, right? Because we know esports is one of the fastest growing, mediums of entertainment there is. But I don't think people fully understand how NFTs will incorporate into that pay to play type of game. So if you want to talk about maybe F1 Delta Time as an example of how people are paying for their actual race cars and using those to race against others. And then maybe talk about, because I know some of the prices on not just this game, but other games are starting to really creep up. Maybe talk about some of the long-term ROIs that can actually come from buying a digital asset like that. And if I could hear from the other two afterwards, I'd love to hear your perspectives as well.
Sure. Yeah, I think with F1 Delta Time, I think we've seen something really unique. The first car that we sold was called the 111, and actually the buyer of that was Metacoven. The guy behind the $69 million Beeple art. So he was an early adopter of our project, which was really exciting to see. And then that was the kind of the apex tier, the one-of-one cars. Obviously, we have the different levels of rarities, which then, essentially how the game works is you buy a car, a driver, and a set of tires, and you can actually race them on track to be able to earn some rev at the end of, which is our utility token, which you earn at the end of an event, depending on where you place on the leaderboard. Some of these guys who are, early into the game are earning, tens of thousands of rev a week. And for the guys that don't necessarily want to play the game, you can actually stake your NFTs to earn passive income. So the play to earn model is really kind of prevalent in our game, and it's kind of a proven model within F1 Delta Time. And we're going to be obviously translating that across to all our different games as well, with MotoGP Ignition, Formula E, and Rev Motorsport.
Awesome. Can I maybe just pose a similar question to David and Kasim about, and I know this isn't necessarily the topic of our panel, the kind of esports, but how do you guys see the world of NFTs kind of tying into pay to play and
well, esports is my thing,
even
so
allowing fans to become part of whatever they are a fan of, right? Becoming more engaged in their team or their sport or their kind of favorite brand. How do you see NFTs really, working in that space and actually providing yield into the future, ROI?
A big part about able to tokenize something and have true value and the global reach, like Matt has mentioned, for us, we put in scarcity, number one, but we also don't want to price out these NFTs. So newcomers, they feel too scared or, well, this F1 car went too high. Anyone have the ability to earn that and to get to that level of, we putting together a master collectors program in our own app. And one of the key points is all really about incentive, behavior of a user, how you can give rewards. And, we are constantly and carefully monitoring these behaviors from users. And then we adapt to it. The industry that we are in right this moment, as you probably all know, it's going through a huge adoption phase. So a lot of the data that's coming in, whether it's coming big portion from the crypto enthusiasts or the real true fans. We see around 67 to 70% of our users are actual fans of a brand. So now for us is to build that brand experience and how we incentivize them to keep them coming back. We do have a utility token that we use for the early contributor who participate, and basically they have seen, throughout the last 12 months, a good surge of how they been rewarded for their early adoption to our ecosystem. Now it's about opening more and more of these different staking programs or royalties or incentives. We really believe that the economy in this tokenization world will be driven by incentive on the behavior of the users. And the more we give out, this economy is going to look quite different, because your loyalty is no longer just competing on price. As you know, and we know, that a lot of these crypto investors or crypto holders, they are very deep pocket. Some of them got into crypto very early in age. So when they're buying these artwork or bidding for these NFTs, they think different. They value things very differently. So it's really understanding that, and we'll continue to move where we need to. But we also need to ensure that the mass market adoption is going to meet that, so they don't get priced out to go, oh, wow, this thing is really for just purely whale or speculations purpose.
Hey, Kazim, I wanna quickly ask you, just specifically about an industry that's so tied in with sports, which is gambling, sports betting. A $200 billion a year industry. Do you see NFTs playing a big role in the sports gambling space?
I mean, I have a different view on how to introduce NFTs in different markets. Again, going back on the esport, the question that you asked, Mike, and what Matthew and David already answered in different ways. I think what happens is I think the market, like David said, is trying to reinvent itself, right? It's trying to see how we can utilize NFTs in different sectors. So if that is collectibles, if that is esport, if that is gambling, as you say, but not looking really what you trying to solve. Are you trying to solve? So there is two kind of people, right? If you look at the NFTs, one who are really collectibles, who are really eager to collect something that they believe in, that they're a fan, so they want to collect that signed jersey or that signed car or that signed ball or whatsoever, which they love, which they want to keep because they are a fan of 10, 20, 30 years of that club, of that idol, of that player whatsoever. Then you have the other side, which is, which a lot, already mentioned during this call, whereby it said, the scarcity of the NFT, it will, put up the price, how we can utilize it in the esport, that, people, because in the esport, people are already buying, a lot of different goods, which they're doing for the last, 5-10 years. So there's no difference there. And utilizing with an NFT, it makes it better. Again, where does it come? Is it real? How it is? And that's the same thing with gambling, right? Many companies are looking at it, how to utilize it, what to do with the NFT, because at the end of the day, people are already gambling 10 years, and people are looking now, maybe, we can put a utility behind the NFT that gives an X amount as an affiliate, but there is already an affiliation program, or there is a passive income, like Matthew was saying. And I think the potential is there. There are, which we are aware of due to the fact of our sport and entertainment fan engagement platform. We believe in rewarding the loyal fans, winning prizes, winning meet and greet, winning VIP tickets. These are all the stuff that can be, initiated through our platform. And with the gambling area itself, that, you can add more than just winning money. Then I think you get a sexy product that, okay, I can gamble, but at the same time, the product allows me that I can, win a VIP ticket, season ticket, meet and greet, because at the end of the day, I gamble for a football match because one, I want to win, but also I watch football, or I watch tennis, or I watch Formula One, and I think utilizing the right structure and putting the right solution for that NFT, for that relevant sector, there will be definitely a huge opportunity in that field as well, which is, in US alone, the sport betting, they believe that in the next 3-4 years, it's $100 billion plus market. So you can imagine how people will jump on that wagon, Mike.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, we are almost at time. I do have one more quick parting question. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with all of you. Kind of tongue in cheek, are NFTs in a bubble, or are we just getting started?
Well, in general, I don't think we are actually in the bubble. We do have some inflation issues. Some of these prices are slightly getting out of hand, but we will continue to see good quality NFT projects and NFT works continue to rise. Saying that, we're going to have a lot of new individuals coming into the space. And it doesn't mean if it doesn't sell out or the NFT is not so popular, it's creating bubble. It's really just over supply and demand issue. If you have a rough of supply, now there's a lot of more options. People are not having to buy everything. It doesn't mean the whole thing is reversed. I think there will be lots of creation coming out. This is definitely an industry that's going to be here for a long time because there's many, many ways to digitalize NFTs in many different sectors, into fintechs, to music, to streaming, filming, art, culture, everything, every aspect of it.
That's amazing. Well, I think we're just about at time. I haven't got the kickoff yet, so maybe I'll give you one more parting question. I kind of alluded to this at the very beginning, but I'd like to hear from all of you what you're most excited about in the NFT space. What type of developments, what type of human rights things potentially are you most excited to see in the next 5-10 years?
I mean, if I look at from our end, as mentioned, we again from the sport and entertainment sector, I talk about, Mike. It's really the real fans, right, who are really looking for collectibles. If you look at the market, the collectible market is a massive market, and to make sure there is no fraud, to make sure there is, the real owner, like the panel already was mentioned several times, who owned it first, and then. The next owner, etc. And that's what really we are excited about, because there is no, the blockchain, the NFT side, to digitalize the physical collectible, that I'm buying something real. I know where it comes from, how it is, instead of going on the website and said, oh yeah, this is signed by, you have these pawn shops, you have this program on TV. And then they come and they say, oh, yeah, this was signed. But okay, but how do you know? Okay, how do we check? So that will change, and that is the exciting part, I believe, to make sure that's not train the cut, that is the real McCoy. Again, I think that is an amazing opportunity for the real fans. Again, there are 2 points of bias, I think, for the NFTs. One, who are real people that, wants the solution. That are, if it's a collectible or some other assets, whatever it is. And you have the other ones, they buy it for as an investment. And I think, how that market, because everybody jumps on it, they make a digital thing and say, oh yeah, this is an NFT. But the digital things, they have been existing for a long time. What did you change? What did you solve actually, And I think that's the most important. But for us, the exciting part, there is a real solution to make sure that what I buy as a real fan, that this is the helmets signed by the driver, or jersey worn by the Champions League final, whatever the final is. And I think that is the market will change in that level for the real fans to get really into this sector itself, Mike.
And for us, we really see the digital layer is going to be surrounding us. We really believe the wearable device, the virtual reality glasses in years to come, when you put it on, what do you want to see apart from your email and your text message? You really want to see the surrounding digital characters, things that you love and you grow up, like everyone has mentioned the fandom. You want to see the Batman standing next to it. You want to see the superheroes all surrounding. And there will be multitude of these new layers of space and allow us to, very similar to the Ready Player One movie, that you really walking into the metaverse and gamification. Things that we are working on is hugely will be in gamify, how we make this more entertaining, how we can get this user incentively come into this world. And that's what we really believe, that there will be this immersed market. And as long as you make NFT accessible, easy to be able to be purchased and through mobile or tablets, just much more easier way to get new adoption to the mass market. The faster we can do that, the bigger the market is going to grow.
I think you're muted, Mike.
Sorry, just said parting words.
I mean, not to be the ultimate cliche, but I guess what I'm most excited for is I guess something that's yet to be developed, right? I think there's so much going on every day in the NFT space. From a collectibles side, from what David's doing at VeVe with these, incredible AR AR works, and what Kazim's doing with the fan engagement, to what we're doing with the gaming side. I think there's so many different avenues and how NFTs will end up interacting with all of these, and the interoperability of NFTs. Let's say you can buy eventually when VeVe has sports collectibles, potentially having a sport collectible that can be played in in one of our racing games, that could also be engaged with a fan platform like Iconic. I think the interoperability across different chains, across different platforms, I think that's going to be something that's going to be very special.
Absolutely. And I've got one question from the audience here, David. When Pokemon?
Listen, I think these brand owners, by the way, we have a whole team work on licensing, and there are thousands of brands out in the world. Most of these brands, they go through a huge list of complexity internally, through legals, through every rough of things. And we are under extreme, very tight NDA with all our brand owners and vendors. We love every brand to be participating in what we do. As we build out our technology to be scalable, more stable in every way, more and more, you will see more and more immersed brands that just coming on. We are always constantly talking to dozens of brands, and we have dozens of deals on the works all the time. And I'll be quite honest, right now, I think we were expecting about 25 to 30,000 active users on our platform. And I think we have just a little over 300 or 320,000 active users I saw on our backend.
That's new.
There's a lot of things that we need to do internally to get it right. And we will onboard all these brands slowly as we go. And I know there's a lot of speculations from everywhere from our fans. But yeah, do keep your eye out. We got great news. It's a great project. Not just our project. I think overall, this whole entire NFT space where, even Animoca, Soa, Dapper Labs, another company, all these, we're part of the OG pioneer from the start, and we wear throughout the storm, where brand owners don't even understand NFT or what is non-fungible, even though non-fungible has been around us all the time. Digital artwork's been around for many years, and it's just a new way to tokenize it through the blockchain that give these ownership. So these brands, they are learning, they are adapting. A lot of these are just going through legal drafting and understanding still. And so, yeah, please do keep an eye out. And thanks for everyone who supported us, because it's been very, very, very tough to get to where we are today. Thanks, man.
Great answer. And it's not a great panel unless you have a little bit of alpha there at the end. So appreciate that. Well, gentlemen, we're running out of time here. Thank you so much for the great lively conversation. I'm really looking forward to seeing the developments from all of your projects coming in the near future, and I look forward to continuing the conversation offline.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, 300,000 plus users confirmed. I think what we might do is I'm going to segment this into a couple of parts. Honestly, not everything I'm going to talk about, because some parts of that I don't feel like straight interested me in the way that I understand, at least. And I try to talk about things I understand mostly. But I appreciate them doing this, and I appreciate you for watching if you are. But thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, everyone.